Are you ready? Are you ready?
A basketball player,
ice skater,
a policeman.
a vet.
I want to drive a cruise boat.
As I've gotten older, now that I play in a jazz band, I sometimes play in a rock band, sometimes I play in an orchestra for performances like musicals. Suits That Rock started about 6 years ago as a way in which some older executives like me that might have played music at an earlier age, generally played in rock bands or in popular bands of the day. But we bring together about 40 or 50 executives from across the region. We practice for about 6 months and we perform for about 3.5 hours, 2 Saturdays, consecutive Saturdays, to not only a lot of people who seem to enjoy watching us, but we get the biggest kick out of it. We kind of go back in time and we're back there on the stage of whatever band or bands we played in. Some of the individuals actually were with major bands that toured the region or toured the country. It's a great deal of fun.
Right now, music is a very strong hobby for me. It's a very important part of my life also. But from a hobby viewpoint, I play in several local rock bands. I play in a jazz band or two. I try to play once or twice every month.
Actually took me into an opportunity with the Reds to play organ. They hadn't had an organist in a few years, and by chance we were at a meeting with them, and I kind of got my foot in the door playing the organ with the Reds, so I've been doing that for 4 seasons now, and I do that whenever they're in town and my schedule allows. The band is a local band. It's called the Rusty Griswolds, and we play pretty much the Cincinnati area, and we'll play on the weekends, maybe 4 or 5 times a month. And we're just a cover band. We play whatever songs we like in the 80s. We stick to the 80s genre.
I'm also really fortunate that I never stopped playing, and so I have this wonderful dual career in a sense of being able to play music with chamber musicians from all over Greater Cincinnati, play with some ensembles, and some of those ensembles are people who are amateurs. They're people who are physicians and lawyers and scientists and other kinds of professionals in other fields. But again, they've held on to that passion, and so I have this wonderful mix of professional music, amateur music, and then professional radio.
Including music in an educational environment is so important in so many different ways. Of course, you've got the arts that need to be represented more and more in the school system, but you also have music allows the ability to be creative. It allows the ability to problem solve. It allows some critical and logical thinking skills to interact with yourself. It allows you to focus. And more importantly, when you become part of a musical event, you learn how to interact with that group, and you know when to step up and solo, you know when to sit back and let somebody else take the lead. But overall, it gives you the opportunity to become a very large, integral part of a wonderful group of musicians and activities and events. And when you play well and you see an audience react, there is no better feeling than that, regardless of whether you're making money doing it or you're just playing from the heart. It is the best feeling in the world.
The thing that really jumps out at me is how many people in very prominent and very challenging professions find that music is just such a key part of their training. I was so delighted and really tickled recently that the Nobel Prize winner, Thomas Sudhoff, who shared the prize for one of the medicine prizes, he said that his most influential teacher of his entire career was his bassoon teacher. And now you think, wow, a neuroscientist is crediting someone who's now a Nobel Prize winner, is crediting his bassoon teacher. And he said it was because the bassoon teacher really instilled in him that it's important to practice and listen and practice and listen and that repetition, and again, that discipline, that kind of determination is really an important part of no matter what you do, whether it's science or math or music. That kind of discipline you learn, that kind of focus that you learn in music is just, it is almost unique to that process of learning a musical instrument. So I think that that's a really good example of why music is so important, and not just important for its own intrinsic value, which it certainly has, but because it really does train our brains, and it trains us as whole people to really look at problems and look at our careers or our lives as whole entities and not just little bits and pieces that get tied together.
You know, when I look to hire individuals to work at Gateway Community College, one of the things I look for is how adaptable they are to the situation. I'm looking for people who are creative. I'm looking for people who can think outside the box, if you will. I'm looking at people who have demonstrated some creativity, and oftentimes when I find out they've been part of a musical career, that tells me a little bit something different about them, and they have some skills, especially if they tell me they were in the high school band and the marching band and they were in the college band or whatever. I know I have somebody that understands discipline. I know I have somebody that really has demonstrated dedication far better than had they not done that. I think it helps people to be creative and to get outside themselves, especially when I find out an individual has performed in some way. That tells me that they're not afraid to get out in front and to perhaps speak their mind. I'm looking for people who have that critical thinking skills and that performance skill. In education, it's all about performance. In music, it's all about performance.
Are you ready? Are you ready?